This session of the Oak Park City Council is called to order. Please stand for the pledge to the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
City Clerk Norris, please call the roll.
Mayor McClellan?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Edgar?
Here.
Councilmember Burns?
Here.
Councilmember Radner? Here. Councilmember Whitehead?
Okay, we have a quorum. Thank you. Please add to the agenda a closed session to discuss pending litigation regarding 13200 Oak Park Boulevard and 21950 Eastwood. That's 13200 Oak Park Boulevard and 21950 Eastwood. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Passed, okay. Consent agenda, regular city council meeting minutes for September 5th, 2023. Special council meeting minutes for the same date. C, request to authorize the Department of Public Works to enter into an intergovernmental agreement with the city of Ferndale to utilize their storage yard for leaf pickup. This is something we do every year to save money. D, request to approve an agreement with the Road Commission for Oakland County for winter maintenance on Greenfield Road from 8 to 11 mile roads and on 10 mile road from Greenfield to Woodward, also a yearly agreement. E, Arts and Cultural Diversity Commission meeting minutes for February 9th, March 9th, April 13th, May 31st, June 8th, and July 13th. F, request to approve payment of invoices from MDOT for the 9 Mile Road project for the total amount of $579,257.93. G, request to approve payment application number 2 for the 9 Mile Connector Park project M746 to DMC Consultants Incorporated of Detroit, Michigan for $2,374.19. H, licenses new and renewals submitted for September 18th, 2023. A motion to accept the consent agenda.
Second.
Thank you. Please, a roll call.
Councilmember Burns?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Edgar?
Yes.
Mayor McClellan?
Yes.
Councilmember Radner? Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you. We don't have visiting elected officials here tonight. No public hearings or special communications. Item 10A, request for a special event license and waiver of application fee submitted by the City of Oak Park Dog Park Committee for the Oak Park and Bark Grand Opening to be held October 15th, 2023 from noon to 3. And is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second. We will be having a special thank you to a bench that was donated to our city by our wonderful resident. 10, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. B, request for a special event license and waiver of application fee submitted by Mark Phillips for the dog park mural dedication to be held on the same day from 10 to 10:30. Motion to approve the request.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Thank you. C, request for special event license submitted by Dog and Pony Show Brewing, 14661 West 11 Mile Road, Suite 200, for a cornhole tournament fundraiser, an annual event, I believe, to be held October 1st, 2023 from 10 to 5. All those, let me see, and this was, the fee was paid because it's not a nonprofit. We have a motion and a second, and all those in favor, please.
We have a motion or a second yet.
No motion, no second? Motion and a second.
All these motions, getting yourself.
I
spun
know.
around.
And do we have a second?
I will second.
Second it, thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Page 2, item 11, accounting reports. Approval for payment of an invoice submitted by Schiffman Fournier for legal services retainer for October 1st, 2023 to December 31st, 2023, in the total amount of $18,000. Motion to approve payment.
So moved.
Second.
Second. Discussion. Roll call vote, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Edgar,
Yes.
Mayor McClellan,
Yes.
Councilmember Radner,
Yes.
Councilmember Burns.
Yes.
Motion carried, thank you. B, approval for payment of invoices submitted by Garen Lukow Miller, P.C. for legal services in the total amount of $14,683.33. A motion to approve.
So moved.
Thank you. Thank you. Any discussion? Roll call vote?
Mayor McClellan,
Yes.
Councilmember Radner,
Yes.
Councilmember Burns,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Edgar.
Yes. Motion carried. Item 12, bids. Request to award the bid for the 9 Mile Road landscape planting contract. First, let's get a motion and then somebody to discuss the contract.
We need a little bit more on that motion.
Sorry?
We need a little bit more on the motion, so we probably ought to talk about it.
Right. We have a motion? Okay, Mayor Pro Tem, and we have a second?
I think he wanted to
Request to
talk about
award.
it before we got.
I think we, no?
We need to include the motion, in the motion, who it's going to. We didn't have that.
Right, I was gonna say, yeah, there's something's missing, we don't know who it's going to.
Okay, all right. Let's get the discussion first then.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council members.
Is your mic on?
Thank you. We put out for bid a landscaping award for a few items. Our welcome signs that are on 11 Mile in Coolidge, Oak Park Boulevard in Coolidge, and then we also have another welcome sign that's on 9 Mile, as well, sorry, I cannot talk tonight, as well as 2 median landscape islands that we just redid on 9 Mile Road that did not have landscaping. And we sent that out for bid. We did not receive any bids last week when we opened them, so we put it back out again, and we received bids this morning. It was viewed by 37 different contractors, but we only received 1 bid. We reviewed the packet, and the landscape design is very desirable. They did an excellent job in designing the landscape around all the welcome signs and median islands. And they also included an option to include fall plantings for an additional $5,000. So the bid was $33,100, and the additional $5,000 brings it to $38,100.
The 5,000 was for what again?
Fall plantings of perennials, so they'll put annuals in there.
Oh, annual.
Yep, so it looks good as soon as they plant it this fall. The bidder was Premier Group Associates out of Detroit, Michigan. And I called their references today, and they received glowing recommendations from both of the ones that were provided to us. And if council approves it, the funding comes out of the Corridor Improvement Authority budget, and they can begin the work at the beginning of October, and it'll be done this fall. So we recommend that you approve the request in the amount of $38,100.
38,100. Okay, let's,
Now we're good, right?
now we can do a motion to approve, yeah.
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Second, thank you.
I have a question.
A question?
You said you checked with references,
Correct.
and they came back good?
Yes, yeah, they did not.
listed under any negative websites they are?
No, they had no negative comments, and both of the references said they would use them again.
Oh,
Okay.
wonderful.
Do they have a Better Business Bureau recommendation?
I believe it was in the packet.
Okay.
I'd have to, sorry, I just got it this morning. I'd have to go back through it and see if it was in there.
So is 5,000, I mean, I know that there are several medians to plant, but it seems like a lot. And since they're planting perennials, presumably in the following years, it will be more of a maintenance type of thing if they come back, right?
With annuals,
with perennials? Because they're planting some hardy perennials.
yep, they're gonna plant perennials. The additional 5,000 is for annuals. So yes, there will obviously be maintenance. All landscaping beds require that. And the CIA, right now, we're working with DPW to supplement their budget to handle that. However, we're looking at other resources to do that in the future.
I think it looks great. I think the only thing is that adding annuals at this point is sort of foolhardy. I mean, we're gonna get a frost soon, probably. I'm sorry to be so negative, but
Sure.
this is Michigan.
It's gonna be warm forever.
Any other discussions about that? They can't make it perennials? They can't do like
Most of it
mums?
is perennials,
Yeah.
but we did ask for annuals to be placed in the landscaping beds so we can have more color. We don't have a lot of color in the community, so we want to add them in our planting beds.
Yep. Just for any, when we started in 2011, there wasn't one city flower anywhere. And you went to other cities and saw everything blooming, and it was so nice, and then we came back here and it was concrete. So,
One more question.
yes.
So the welcome sign, I know that we're doing the signs for parks. Will this be part of that? Will it be sort of, I guess, rebranded so our signs will start to be consistent throughout the city?
So the park signs I can't speak to because I'm not part of that project, but I'm sure we are going to make them the same because we do like consistency. I'll let the city manager talk about that. In regards to the landscaping of them, we could certainly follow the landscape plans that have been provided for these signs that we bid on. However, we didn't include all of the city signs purely for the fact that this is funded through the Corridor Improvement Authority and they can only spend money within their district and those are outside of it.
Thank you.
Any further questions?
I have a comment if you want.
Yes.
So just to weigh in, I think part of the premise for this proposal in the first place was that, I think we all agree that we need to up our game as it relates to some of the landscaping areas. So this does that. And I think as far as, and I hope I'm getting this right, but the annuals, so the mums and those kinds of things, that's not uncommon for other, DDA districts, Corridor Improvement Authority districts, other welcome sign districts in other communities to do that. So I just would say my 2 cents is that that's absolutely necessary, and it really helps keep our city beautiful. And this time of year, especially when other flowers are dying and shriveling up. So
Yeah.
I'm all for it, and I think we can't do enough to beautify these corridors of the city.
Yep. It lifts us, makes us proud of where we live. Okay, any further comments or anything? Are you ready to vote?
Yes.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Radner,
Yes.
Councilmember Burns,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Edgar,
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes, motion carried, thank you. We don't have ordinances. The city attorney will be talking to during closed session. City Manager Eric Tunge.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of council. I would like to ask City Clerk Ed Norris to take 15A, please.
Thank you. I get to speak a little bit about the election. The election is coming up November 7th. I'd like to indicate that. And I wanted just to mention a little bit about that as far as absentee voting. Absentee ballots will be going out on the September 28th.
September 20,
28th, September 28th. So I wanted to let you know that. That's also the day that, we have ballots available on that day, so you can always come in to obtain an absentee ballot right in the office. So that's an important date. Just wanted you to know that. So November 7th, sort of city election, absentee voting, the 28th. What I'm really wanting to talk to you about tonight is an agenda item that I have before you. Last November, we passed some laws related to elections. And there are several new items coming on board soon. One of them is a mandate for 9 days of early voting. And that would be for statewide, federal, and even local elections in the future. So the law also allows the county to assist its municipalities by coordinating regional early voting sites. And what we have tonight is an agreement that provides for Oakland County to coordinate a regional site in our area that will service the municipalities of Oak Park, Huntington Woods, Berkeley, and Pleasant Ridge. And that would be for this coming election and also all future elections. So this regional model is certainly advantageous to us and these communities because it allows us to share the costs associated with early voting. So that's one great thing. The location of this regional site for ours will be in the Oak Park Community Center, which is particularly advantageous to us and to our voters because of the location. So, so what we have is a request to approve the election services agreement with Oakland County to provide early voting services for the city of Oak Park, to designate the Oak Park Community Center, 14,300 Oak Park Boulevard, as the early voting regional site, and to authorize the city clerk to sign the agreement on behalf of the city. So that is the motion.
So we can come in from what date to what date and vote early if we're going to be out of town for the election or for some reason that the election day isn't convenient for us? What are,
That's right. What this early voting site does, it's just like a election day precinct, which will service these communities that I mentioned. It will begin, this is again for every election, 9 days. So it would, for this election coming up, it will start the Saturday the 28th.
the 28,
28th of October.
10/28,
The election site time would be from 8:30 to 4:30 every day that I'm going to mention, with the exception of Thursday, the Thursday of that week, which will be from noon until 8 o'clock. So the dates for this election would be the 28th, 29th, 30th, 31st, November 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and ending on the 5th, which is a Sunday, before the election. So those would be the early voting dates and times.
So what day of the week is the 5th?
The 5th is a Sunday.
Sunday. So you will be able to vote on a weekend before the election day. If you like to vote in person and it's too busy on that date or you can't make it on that date, there are other days that you can come. So it's to make it more convenient for us, which is amazing. So you can vote in person from December 28th to November 5th. October 28th to November 5th, thank you. And luckily, I think because we had the most population, or the most registered voters of all the cities that are listed, that they put it in our community center.
Well, we simply had the best place for it.
The best place.
Mainly because we have the best mayor.
Because, clearly. Yes, all right, thank you. So this is request to approve an election services agreement. No, we don't have the,
I mentioned the motion, we haven't got it.
we don't have it, okay. So a motion to approve this agreement with Oakland County.
So moved.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you. Yes, City Manager Eric Tunge.
Just want to give a big thank you to our city clerk and his staff, because the truth is that, and he's too humble to say this, but they were instrumental in, yes, we have the largest population of these cities, but it was also our advocacy, due in large part to him and his staff, Jolyn Williams as well, that we got this. And I think this is a real coup for our city. I'm very, very excited about this and very proud of this, because going forward, as the city clerk mentioned, we will be the regional, mini regional center for early voting, right here in Oak Park.
Nice.
Just one question.
Yes.
So a friend of mine who was in Huntington Woods said that they received something in the mail explaining the early voting, explaining everything, where the new precincts are, et cetera. Are we gonna do something like that? Maybe put it in a utility bill to let people know that this is available?
We have that plan.
Yeah, good,
And I'm seeing a thumbs up from our communications director too, so she's on it,
good.
as usual. Thank you.
Yes, they read our minds. That's good. All right, so we have a motion and a second? And is there any further discussion or questions? Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Burns.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Edgar.
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes,
Councilmember Radner.
Yes.
motion carried, thank you.
Okay, 15B, Finance Director Sandra Crawford, please. And C, please.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council, City Manager Tungate. Before you, item 15B, the Deputy Treasurer is submitting a list of properties that have outstanding charges for delinquent utilities, property blight, false alarms, and sidewalk replacement. And we are asking that the resolution be adopted, authorizing the city assessor to prepare special assessment rolls assessing unpaid charges together with a 10% penalty on private property for delinquent utilities totaling $220,684.55, false alarms totaling $1,683, property blight totaling $22,737, and sidewalk replacement totaling $2,753.58.
So we need a motion to approve the resolution authorizing the assessor to prepare the assessment rolls.
Yes.
So moved?
Second.
Moved and seconded, thank you. Discussion or questions? Are the utilities higher this year than normal, the total?
Off the top of my head, I don't remember what last year's were, but I don't believe this is higher than last year's. Again, this goes back for a period of 6 months. So if they're outstanding by that time, it's for 616 properties.
So have people been notified?
They will be after you approve this.
Got
The
it.
city clerk will send out the notifications to them, letting them know that the special assessment roll has been set with the 10% penalty. And so it will give them a due date to pay to get those charges caught up.
So
And-
you can pay immediately?
You can pay now. Once you approve this, they can pay, but they're still gonna have to pay with a 10% penalty, because at the point that we make it a special assessment, which is what we're doing now, 10% gets added. And then they'll have a due date on that notification that they have to pay by a certain date, and that date will be November 14th. And so in our next action, I'll be asking to set a public hearing for that.
All right, are we ready to vote then?
We sure are.
Roll call.
Mayor Pro Tem Edgar.
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes,
Councilmember Radner.
Yes.
Councilmember Burns.
Yes.
motion carried, thank you.
Thank you. Item 15C is now the request to receive the special assessment rolls establishing October 2nd, 2023 as the date for the public hearing on the rolls for unpaid charges for city expenses incurred on private premises for delinquent utilities, special assessment roll number 708, false alarms, special assessment roll number 709, property blight, special assessment roll number 710, and sidewalk replacement, special assessment roll number 711.
Okay, is there a motion to approve this resolution, receiving the special assessment rolls and establishing October 2nd is the date for the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
If they get this notice and they feel that there's an error, there are several ways that they can contact us. And
Yes.
say, please check this, we don't think we owe this.
They can call us, they can give written.
Holler
corres-
real loud.
They can call us, and it would be whatever that department is. So if it was a utility, they can call the water department. If it's blight, they can call the municipal services. If it's the false alarm, they can call the Public Safety Records Division. And then, I think I covered them all. Blight, on sidewalk replacement would be municipal services as well. And then, at the public hearing, they can submit a written request, or they can come in person and publicly state and ask that it be removed from the roll, researched, and then we would give that to departments, the staff, to research that. And then the staff would give a report back at that following meeting, letting you, city council, know if they are to be placed back on the roll, or if they're to be left off permanently of the roll.
Okay, so you can call the department, you can write a letter, you can come the night of October 2nd,
Yes.
and you can talk to the department head then, who will probably be in the hallway set up. And if you prefer, you can come and speak publicly about it, your choice. But we look into them extremely carefully, and if it's our error, we take responsibility, and if it's, you get the news one way or another. You might not be happy, but they will check your complaint. So moving on,
Thank you.
D?
Okay. 15D, I would like to ask our Municipal Services Director / Economic Development and Planning Director, Kimberly Maroney, to join me at the podium, please.
Good evening again. As you may remember, back in 2019, we did a study on the corridors of 11 Mile and Coolidge with the cities of Berkeley and Huntington Woods. Last fall, we also came back to City Council to support us in a grant submission to the Reconnecting Communities grant, and included the city of Royal Oak as well. We did not receive the grant at that time, but round 2 is due on September 28th. We have also recruited the city of Southfield to join us in this grant application as well. And this is to look at specifically just the 11 Mile corridor, and it is for a planning grant. We did do a public open house 2 weeks ago and invited our community stakeholders to join us and provide us with some input. And we will continue to do those if we are awarded the grant. We are looking at possibly reducing lanes, adding bike lanes, green infrastructure, better crosswalks, additional.
Can you slow down and give me the list? Thank you. Bike lanes, I got.
Bike lanes, green infrastructure, better crosswalks, and possibly additional traffic signals to make it a safer road,
What was that last one?
just to make it a safer road. Traffic lights, that one?
Yep.
Yep.
Thank you. Signals. Okay, so we're going to do for 11 Mile similar to what we did for 9 Mile, which is brought new life to the city and the area and benefited the residents and benefited all the people moving through. Pinch me, I can't believe it's happening. And we talked about 9 Mile for so long, it didn't seem like anything would ever happen, but it's happening, and it's happened. So have faith, this one's coming.
Yeah, so we are asking for city council support in submitting the application by signing the resolution. I will note that I did provide our clerk, Ed Norris, tonight with a revised copy. The one that was sent in your packet did not include Southfield, but they did confirm they are joining us in the application, so I
And is
amended
a
it.
Royal Oak also joining?
Yep, they are still part of it. They were part of last
Amazing.
year's, but Southfield is new this year.
So
Also-
cities along 11 Mile.
Correct.
Between Woodward and Greenfield.
Yes.
No, between Woodward and.
Actually, it goes past the main street, pretty much where the Royal Oak Farmers Market is, all the way into Southfield where it hits 696 on 11 Mile.
So this is just a planning grant, though?
Correct. It's just to plan it, see if it's feasible, get community engagement and input. And then from there, if it is feasible, we would go back for a construction grant. And the funding to pay for our grant match on the planning grant is provided by the Corridor Improvement Authority.
So would each city get a piece of that, or how does
The
that
grant
work?
match?
Yeah.
Yeah, so every city is computed based on their linear frontage. Because we share our linear frontage with the city of Berkeley, we divide that frontage in half with them, and then Berkeley and Huntington Woods do the same, and that second portion, Royal Oak takes care of all of theirs, and so does Southfield. So it's just based on linear frontage.
Back, I think in 2011, it was unheard of for cities to come together and do things like this. And now it's old hat. We join with other communities because as the region rises, it lifts all the boats and it helps all of us.
Yes.
And I'm amazed. So this is the planning grant, and the people giving the planting grant like when cities combine. And now we have Southfield, Huntington Woods, Berkeley, Oak Park, and Royal Oak combining to make this better. So I'm very optimistic, cautiously
crossed.
optimistic. All right. Let's see. So you have, do we have a motion? Not yet. We need a motion to approve a resolution in support of this grant application.
So moved.
Thank you. Was that Councilmember Burns?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? No. Unanimously approved. You go, girl.
Okay, 15E, I would like to call up our esteemed colleague, our Director of Public Safety, Steve Cooper.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council, City Manager. Before you, I have a request for traffic control order number 160, section 1.32. The Municipal Services Department will be starting the miscellaneous concrete program, and that will begin at the end of September of this year. And as part of the project, the parking on the following streets will be adversely affected. Those streets are Vale Street, Lion Street, and Eastwood. One lane on each of the streets will be open, but half of the residents will not have access to their driveways for approximately 6 weeks. So I'm coming before council asking that you approve traffic control order number 160, section 1.32, allowing for temporary parking on the north side of Albany between Dante and Fern from a time period of September the 25th of 2023 through November the 13th of 2023.
Okay, first, we need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second?
Thank you. And then, what is going to be happening to the street for the 6 weeks?
It's gonna be under construction, so part of, it says like one lane on each of the streets will be open for half of the residents, but they won't have access to their driveways for the other half.
Right,
So in order to not inconvenience so many residents, as far as parking extremely far away from their homes, a nice, I guess, compromise would be to allow parking on the north side of Vale, the north side of Albany between Dante and Fern for that time period.
Mayor, it's just part of the miscellaneous concrete.
Miscellaneous concrete, got it. Thank you. So they ought to be feeling two ways. First, upset because they can't use their driveway, but second, glad that we're finally fixing the road.
Yes.
Correct.
All right.
And making somewhere for them to park.
Have the residents been notified?
Oh, they will
Sure
be.
hope so.
They will be notified.
Yeah,
DPW director is shaking his head affirmatively. They will be notified ahead of time that they won't be able to use their driveway, and
And there'll be signage to boot, so,
it's a big.
Yeah, absolutely.
okay. Do we need that?
And then Clerk Norris, do you have a motion? Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
Okay, Madam Mayor, members of council, I have one more item I'm going to talk about, and I'd like to ask our former Director of the Department of Public Works, Dave DeCoster, to come to the podium, please. Noticed I said former Director of the Department of Public Works, and I said that because Dave, council members, I handed out a organizational chart to you. So we have finally completed our second leg of reorganization, and that second leg of reorganization will match the first leg, which is the Deputy City Manager 2 of Community Services. Our very own Crystal Van Vleck is our Deputy City Manager of Community Services. Recreation, Strategic Planning, Special Projects, and Resident Services are under that department. Dave represents the final piece of the puzzle here, which is the Deputy City Manager 1 of Municipal Services and the Department of Public Works, and that will include all of the areas that building services and code enforcement, engineering, planning and economic development, public works will all be included into this department. Say a few things about Dave, and then I'm going to turn it over to Dave to say a few words. But Dave has been with the city in so many capacities and worn so many hats, but he's been with the city for 21 years. And in his time, he has spent working in all of these various areas of the city that I just mentioned, that he will now be overseeing. The main purpose for this reorganization is to streamline our city government so that our residents get more bang for their buck, and we're finding more efficiencies, and we're operating more effectively. And council members, I'm sure you know that the Department of Public Works and Municipal Services have so much in common in terms of their day-to-day doing business. So Dave is now going to be overseeing both of those areas, and he's got his plate full, but I know, you know, Dave is just amazing and has done an amazing job for us for a very long period of time, so I know he can handle it and is going to do a great job for us. So Dave, congratulations on your promotion.
Thanks.
And if you would like to say a few words,
You had
feel
me
free.
scared for a second there. Former. No, good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council. First, just want to, again, thank Eric. He's allowed me to take on this role, so I appreciate the trust he has in me for that. You know, we had a quick meeting earlier today, and I'll be quick. You know, I love my job. I've been here 21 years. I'll retire here. So I'm excited for the new challenge. I have worked in this department in the past, so I think they mingle together quite well. But I'm excited for it. Like I said, I love serving the residents in the community, so I'm excited.
Dave does a great job, and he does it with a smile and wonderful resident communication.
Absolutely, Madam Mayor, and Dave, I'm so proud of you and so proud of the work that you've done, and I know you're going to have a great deal more to say as you get more acclimated and, you know, get going. So thank you so much for your service.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor, members of council, that completes the city manager report for this evening.
Thank you. We are now up to call to the audience. If you will, if you filled out a card, Clerk Norris, would you read the
Ken
names?
Sherman. Come on up.
This is the gentleman we have to thank for the lovely bench that he put in the dog park in memory of one of his favorite dogs. If you've had a dog, they're in your heart for life. And so we get that. Thank you.
It was my pleasure to do so, thank you. Ken Sherman, Jerome Street, No Park. Two things. I want to ask the city clerk, that new voting hub, if it's a school board election only, does that apply to that type of election or no?
Any election
Okay,
that involves Oak Park.
okay. Wasn't clear, so just wanted to get some clarification.
Not only that, it also includes any of the other communities that might have a school board. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Secondly, you know I'm big on curb appeal, and I asked Director Cooper this before the meeting started. He said since it's private property, it's not a public safety issue, but I don't know if anybody has noticed that the 10 Mile and Coolidge Shopping Center area parking lot has turned into a truck stop area. There's a semi that's been there overnight for at least 2 weeks, and there's a car hauler that's been there at least a week, and they may have permission to park there, but just driving back and forth, seeing those vehicles sitting there, I really don't understand, why the city, talking about curb appeal with everything that we're doing, doesn't, if we don't have an ordinance, consider some kind of ordinance or investigate why those vehicles are sitting in that parking lot, just endlessly. Thank you.
I see our city attorney taking notes.
Madam Mayor.
Yes.
So, more importantly, code enforcement will be visiting them. So
Code enforcement will be visiting.
I see Kim Maroney shaking her head over there, so there we go.
Thank you. Anyone else? Come on down. We don't bite. Anybody? No? All right. I want to thank our friends for coming, taking time out of their evening to be here and to be interested in what's happening to their community, and I'm sure report back to their neighbors. Thank you. Thank you. If we haven't reeled you in for a board or commission yet, please apply. Uncle Sam wants you. Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming, and I want to thank Ken Sherman again for his generous donation to the city. We dedicated a plaque to Duster, may he rest in peace. I wanted to congratulate Director DeCoster on his new promotion. I'm happy that he's going to be with the city till he retires in a couple of years, younger than all of us.
Thank you. Councilmember Burns. Yeah.
Fighting mosquito. Thank you everyone for coming out. Have a pleasant evening and be cognizant of the weather. It is a-changing.
And COVID is going around. Councilmember Whitehead's mom has COVID. The mayor of Ferndale had just had COVID. We thought we were done. We're not quite done. And to Dave DeCoster in his new position, arousing Oak Park Mazel Tov. Thank you. And we won't declare this meeting over because after the closed session, we need to take a vote. So you're welcome to stay if you choose to, or leave, your choice. Thank you. Thank you again for coming.
Madam Mayor, we
Yes.
will need to.
A motion to go into closed session?
However, we need to wait.
He's not coming back.
Okay.
So he's gone.
Can I?
No, we have to have 4, so he's gone.
Wait a minute.
He won't have. No, I think he.
There's no closed session. Is that correct? Okay. One of the council members had an emergency. We need 4 to go into closed session, so we are done. This meeting is adjourned.